We are standing by to hear from President Obama. New comments on the Detroit investigation. We're going to bring that to you as soon as it happens. The failed bombing of a Northwest airline jet, it puts the spotlight on a new front in the line on the war on terror. That is Yemen. Now, Al-Qaeda claims that the attack was in retaliation for alleged American strikes in Yemen. And the government of Yemen has confirmed that the suspect, Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalib, visited the country earlier this year. Now, joining me now is the spokesman for Yemen's embassy in the U.S., Mohammed Albashra. Thank you for joining us in the Situation Room. We have a million questions for you.
Thank you for having me over.
We want to start off first. Abdul Muttalib, he was in your country some time ago, earlier this year. What does the government know about his activities inside of Yemen? What was he doing? Did you have your sights on him?
Yes. He arrived to Sana'a the latest time was in August 2009. He stayed till December 2009. He attended a language program. It's a prominent school in Yemen. It's not a suspicious school. And before that, he was in Yemen between 2004 2005. I don't have the specific dates yet, with the investigations evolving by the minute, as you know. Omar was, according to the questionings that we carried on today by his classmates and the administrative officials of the school, he was a friendly person, did not ring any alarm bells on him.
He had no terrorist ties or networks to Al-Qaeda that the Yemeni government knew about?
We were not informed by any foreign agency that he was a member of any terrorist organization or any foreign entities that would make us think that he was a suspect.
Some are suggesting that Yemen now has such a serious problem with Al-Qaeda that it is the third front in the war on terror, perhaps a third war even. How does your government see it?
We acknowledge that we have a serious problem with Al-Qaeda, and we've been addressing this problem way before it became a global issue. Since 1992, we've been fighting this war. I call it the long war. Al-Qaeda, we've been conducting strikes against them since that day. Unfortunately, especially this year with Yemen's economic situations, we have our oil prices have dropped. We have losses of 65% of oil revenue. In addition to that, 75% of the population is under the age of 25. Furthermore, we also have that 35% unemployment. So we're stripped for cash, and we're fighting Al-Qaeda. We see that we continue to ask our international community to support us.
Tell us about the U.S. role. Clearly, there were strikes against Al-Qaeda very recently, some members of Al-Qaeda that were killed. Did the U.S. lead in those airstrikes and in those ground operations?
The 17th of December operation and the 24th of December operation, it was operations that the Yemeni government is responsible for. We have the capabilities and we have the responsibility to defend our homeland.
What was the U.S. role? Were there U.S. planes or boots on the ground involved?
The U.S. has been supporting Yemen since 9/11, training our forces. We have a very strong security and intelligence cooperation. But again, the last operations and all the operations this year were carried on by Yemeni forces.
What about the U.S. role? How robust was the U.S. role? Were there airplanes and soldiers involved?
Again, this was an operation carried on by the Yemeni government.
You cannot answer that question, I'm assuming.
I think that was a straightforward answer.
Tell us what you know about Abu Muttalib. Did he act alone? Was he part of a terrorist cell? Do we know if there, as he has said to FBI investigators, there are 20 more like him in Yemen? What does the Yemen government know about these people behind him, allegedly?
Our estimates, first of all, for Al-Qaeda operatives in Yemen is between 200 to 300 operatives in Yemen. We're not sure yet what's his link. I think the Al-Qaeda statement that came out recently, they're saying that this is an attack in retaliation for what happened the 17th and the 24th of December is unfounded because we know that he bought the ticket a few days after that, before that. So there's no link for the time being.
So you don't believe the statement that Al-Qaeda in Yemen is connected to Abu Muttalib's alleged attack here?
And they're going to benefit from it anyways, whether there was a link or not. I mean, this is the group.
So it's propaganda from what you're saying?
Most likely. We've seen a lot of the statements from Afghanistan and Iraq too. So for the time being, what we know on ground is he was in Yemen. He attended that school. One of the mosques that he was visiting in the old city of Sana'a, we've been surveilling and we're questioning some of the people that are there to see whether he has links or not.
I want to press you on this point here because obviously the U.S. government does work with the Yemen government as well as the president in taking on al-Qaeda. That relationship has strengthened. But yesterday I talked with the former Homeland Security Advisor, Fran Townsend, under the Bush administration. She said she does not believe that your leadership in the Yemen government is really serious about going after al-Qaeda. I want you to listen to what she said.
We pushed during the Bush administration, President Saleh and his government very, very hard. There have been numerous attacks on our embassy in Sana'a. There was a huge prison break. They have been unreliable partners, frankly. They've been inconsistent.
What assurances can you give us that the president of Yemen is really serious about going after al-Qaeda?
I think this frustrates a lot of the Yemeni people, first and foremost, because al-Qaeda is targeting us before they're targeting anybody else. Like I said, we started this war in 1992. We're losing blood on the ground. Yemen is a battlefield that Yemenis are losing blood. The embassy attack that people are talking about in 2008, we have lost 8 brave soldiers that protected the exterior barrier of the embassy. The escape of 2006, the prison escape that people are talking about, out of the 23 that escaped, 20 were detained and killed, and 3 are still at large. And make no mistake, it's a matter of time. We're going to hunt them down.
Last question here. I just want to press you one more time here. There are some senators who are calling for a preemptive military strike in Yemen. They say that's the only way to go after al-Qaeda. Does the government agree, with or without your government's approval, that that is a good idea?
What I hope to hear from the senators, from the Congress and U.S. officials here in Washington, that they're going to commit long-term to help Yemen in development assistance, to provide us with the necessary equipment, from helicopters, tactical equipment and vehicles to aid our efforts to combat terrorism. We're in this together to the end of the road.
Preemptive military strike would not be something the Yemen government would approve?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Thank you.